Okay, so today we're working outside the shop. I picked this piece up yesterday, got it for a whopping $10. It does need some work. Obviously you can see that the top is a seafoam color, and it's white. And I'm trying out this new product that was given to me by the guys at the paint store. This is the Wagner paint eater. It's got a paint removing wheel, and it's basically an angle grinder without the angle. It's just straight up and down. See? I tried it out over here a little bit, and it's actually working really well. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and start filming a new video. Let me get this out of the way here. Get up here. So we're doing this. We're getting rid of the top because I think what I'm gonna do on this one, we're gonna do the scuff and shoot like we did on the other stuff. But what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna do a gray body, a very light gray neutral body with black hardware. We're gonna stain this top. This is solid wood. It does need some work. It's got this edge over here. It's coming undone. It lifts up, so we're gonna re-nail that. We're gonna get that secured down. But yeah, this one has 7 drawers that you see. And then, let me get that out of the way. You open this door, and there's 2 more drawers in here. So, we're gonna do, like I said, we're gonna do light gray on the body. We're gonna stain the top. I don't have a stain color yet, but I'm thinking probably like a pecan, a little more orangey than dark. But we'll see, we'll play around, we'll see what we can come up with. I got some scrap wood around here we can use for throwing some different color stains on and see what's gonna go good with the paint color. But for now, let me grab my respirator, because you definitely need it with this, because it kicks out very fine particles. And let's get started getting this dude going.
Now, as you can see, you're gonna get dirty. That's why we have the air hose. Some more. Oh, come on. Come on.
Okay, so now I've made a long block for sanding. It's just a 2x4 with 80 grit stapled to it. So we're gonna use this. It's gonna give us nice even sanding. So instead of doing a little block sander that's only 4 inches or whatever, now you got a whole 12 inches of sanding. Put this on, you put it. See if I can get my lovely assistant to help me get it on the lifts here, on the blocks, on the stands, on the whatever we're gonna call them. Let's see if we can get it on there so I can start doing the rest of the scuffing. Okay, I took you off the tripod so I can show you. We're gonna have some extensive Bondo work to do here. Look at all these little divots all over, all down here. This work's been banged into over the years. All of that, all the way down. So every surface of this thing is gonna need some Bondo in it to smooth it out. All this right here. And then we're gonna have to take this door off because I got these hinges that they decided that, you know, let's go ahead and just paint them white or not. So gotta track down some new hinges. I might have to get a new magnet. No, it's not even a magnet, it's just a clip that comes in here and just clips in for this door. I could keep it, but I don't want to have to clean it up, and I think there's better technology out there now that I could use to do a little better. Also, this rail is cracked. We're gonna have to fix that, and by fix I mean replace. That one is something, and then this one over here might as well be a round dowel because that's all that's left. So I'm gonna have to get some new slides for this thing too. So I think it's a good idea that we're gonna stain the top here, and we're gonna paint a solid color here, a light gray, a super light gray with black hardware. Only because I'm gonna have to charge some money for this, just for the work I'm having to put into it for all this stuff. So that's okay, somebody will buy it. This is gonna be a nice looking dresser when we're all said and done with it. Let me get the color real quick so I can show you. So here's the paint. that we got. And when I tell you this is what I like to use, this product, this is Benjamin Moore, the advanced line. All right, so this is the stuff that has that chemical in it that flows out real nice and levels. It really does kind of help level itself. There is one line above this that you're going to use for cabinets and trim and stuff like that, but it's like $80 a gallon. I'm not paying that. So that one actually does flow out the best. You can use a brush on it and it looks like you sprayed it. It looks real good after everything settles out. It levels itself. This has that same chemical in it, just not as much. But this is the product that I do like to use when we're painting cabinets. So let me show you this color, see if you can see it. It looks white, but it's not white. This color is called Silver Lake. It's a gray. It's a very, very light gray color. You'll be able to see it because when we stage it in the house and we do all that, the baseboards are white, the walls are white, so you'll be able to see that there's a definition in there. And then with the black hardware, this color is going to look really good. I'm still going back and forth what stain I want to use. I have a few of them that I can use that I have on me right now, but we're not there yet. We're not going to stain it just yet. We still got to sand it 2 more times, get everything, make sure everything's super leveled out, super ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to tape and cover the top. We're going to prime it. We're going to paint the body, okay? And once the body is painted, after all the prep work is done, we'll uncover the top, and then that's when we're going to stain it. So we're still, you know, a day or 2 out from doing that. So it's no big rush. I have like 5 or 6 different colors that I can use, and if I don't like any of them with the color of this paint, I'll go find something else. Pretty easy. But we're going to get started doing the scuffing now. We're going to scuff up, and I'm going to show you what I mean when we do a scuff. I'll bring you in a little closer so you can see with the lights how, I guess whatever paint they used on here was a semi-gloss, and it's got a lot of shine to it. If you can get that shine knocked off and just get a real dull color, like a flat almost, you're good to go. You've scuffed it up enough. We don't have to take it all the way to wood. So let me pull you in a little closer and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're here on the side panel. So you can see some of the front that's got the high or the semi-gloss on it. This, honestly, this looks like probably a satin is what they've sprayed on here or rolled on here. I can see the stipple up here. And we're going to use 120. You don't need to use 80 because you're not really trying to take any of the material off. But just be warned, this is going to gum up your sandpaper. So you're going to go through quite a bit of sandpaper just trying to get the shine off of it, just because of the chemicals that are in there. So let me show you what I mean. So I know I looked in the camera. You can't really see too much of a shine here, but we're just going to go and we're going to just give it a nice little once over, and you can already see the color change in the green, right? Because you're getting that shine knocked off the top of it there, that top coat. So we're gonna go and do this whole panel, and you don't need to take off material. If you do, that's fine. It's not a big deal. You're not hurting anything. But see what I mean about it gums up your sandpaper? That's all the top coat finish, the shine that comes off of it. You can see the difference in the white here too. How I'm starting to take off a little bit of paint, but I took that shine off of it as well. So we're gonna do this whole thing. I prefer to do this stuff by hand. You get a better feel for it if you do it by hand. If you do it with, you know, a regular palm sander or something like that, it can actually leave divots all over this thing if you do it. I'm not saying you need to do it by hand. If you want to, cool. If you don't. But for me, I like doing it by hand. You get a better feel. You can take it a little bit slower, take your time doing it, and in the end, I don't know, it feels like it comes out better to me if I do it by hand. So I'm gonna move you back and get the sanding. Huh. Turns out, originally, this thing came from Lax. So this was a high dollar dresser at one point. Will be again. Alright, so we got that off. And I think if I can't find those hinges, the hinges I'll probably sandblast. I'll get those back down to the original finish, and then I'm just gonna give them the old paint job there. And we'll get those the same color as the hardware, black. It's gonna be easy. Keep sanding. I need some new sandpaper. This one's done. Okay, I got y'all off the tripod again for a second. So I've already gone ahead and did all the Bondo that I'm gonna do. There's a couple divots that are left that weren't like super deep. Did pretty much like 60% of this whole side over here. And then over here, did this piece here. And I did a bunch down here on the bottom and some pieces over here. So you see how it's got this lip to it. So we have to sand it. We have to sand it smooth, and then there won't be any texture to it whatsoever. So that's what we're gonna do next. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit this guy with 220 when the long bar, the long block. We're gonna put 220 on there. We're gonna get this super smooth, ready to get stained. And then we're gonna wrap it up after it dries, after we wipe it down with our little solution. We get all the sawdust off of it, we're gonna wrap it up, and then we're gonna get this guy ready to prime. So let me get this thing sanded real quick. Okay, for sanding the Bondo, we're gonna go back with the 120. We're just gonna scuff it up. We're actually gonna get it smooth because it does have a texture to it, but we're gonna get it smooth, but it's gonna do the same thing as it does when you're scuffing up the painted surfaces. It's gonna leave enough of something for that primer to bite onto. So I'm gonna get started, and it shouldn't take but 5, maybe 10 minutes. And that's the other thing about using Bondo, when you've got your sandpaper on, this isn't, sometimes it'll come off if you give it a nice little pat, but since it is a chemical, most times, what it does is it gets heated up, it gets burned on. So periodically, while you're sanding your Bondo pieces there, you are gonna have to get this stuff off of there. And if you get it too hot, you're just gonna have to replace the paper because it's gonna be cooked on there.
All right, all the Bondo is sanded smooth. Now we're going to replace the 80 grit. Hold on.
I can't breathe in there. So now all the Bondo is sanded smooth. We're going to replace the 80 grit on the long block with 220. And now we're going to do the final sand on the top. And then we're going to blow everything off with the air compressor. We're going to get the solvent on a rag, and we're gonna wipe everything down. You saw me do it in the last 2 videos. Nothing's changing here. So we're gonna spray it on a rag, wipe everything down. That's gonna get every little particle of sawdust off of it. And especially if we're sanding the top, we're definitely gonna want everything off of it. And then yeah, we're ready to prime today. Okay, so we got all the Bondo done. We got all that sanded smooth. The whole thing is ready and prepped. we've covered the top, because remember we're gonna stain this top, so every little exposed corner of it has been covered. So we're gonna go ahead, shoot the primer, and it's cold outside today, so it's gonna take quite a bit for this to set up. So I'm gonna do a couple coats of primer real quick, and we're gonna close the door. We're gonna let this sit until it's ready to lay down the base coat, which is gonna be, or the top coat, which is gonna be that gray color that's almost this, but this is white. So let me get the air compressor fired up, get the gun going, start shooting. Probably gonna end up having to do about 3 coats on this one because the green on either side is really hard to cover. And you can still see some of the unfinished stain marks in here. So I need to spray those out pretty good too. So I can get the gray to cover. Got some spots there, down in here. And the green sides are slow rolling. The last time we saw this, it's probably been about 2 weeks since the last little bit was filmed. Apparently, when I got a new camera, I lost the footage of painting it. But this is the color it's going to be. This is that Silver Lake color. It's very, very light gray. So what we're going to do now, I have the drawers over there. I've bondoed the drawers. I didn't film any of that. I filled in all the little dents, the pocks, everything. I filled everything in on them. So now I got to sand those down so we can get those ready to prime. But in the process of doing everything I've got here, I've got like 5 or 6 dressers that I've picked up in the last couple of weeks. I also borrowed a buddy of mine's soda blasting machine. That's going to be in the next video. While waiting for parts for this one, I did another one. That's video number 4. I'm going to do some soda blasting on these drawers here because the intricate little inlay inside the top 3 drawers here. Need to get everything out of there, all the paint and everything out of those, so that when we lay down the primer, when we lay down the top coat, everything fills in nicely. Also around the edges of the other drawers, there's a little ornate piece that's going to take forever to sand. I'm going to blast those too. And then the door panel, because it's got the slats on it, I'm going to blast that too. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to get everything prepped. The next time you see me, we're going to be getting everything ready to prime on the drawers. Once the drawers are done, I'm going to paint those, and then we're going to do the top. We're finally going to stain the top. You're going to see the color that we picked. I would tell you what it is, but I forgot. So that's what I'm going to get to doing. I'm going to do that all off camera. You don't need to see me sanding and all that stuff. I might take the camera outside so you can see me doing the soda blasting. Get a nice little sneak preview before you see video 4, where I did that. I did some drawers that were pretty extensive and ornate, and it turned out really good. So hang tight. Next time you see it, maybe it's drawers, maybe it's ready for prime. We don't know. Okay, so we got the drawers all sanded down. Use the soda blaster on these. So this one I actually primed before wiping it down. So I'm gonna have to sand that one down a little bit and wipe it down again before I could spray that. So we got these ready to go. We're gonna get the paint's already mixed up, the primer's already mixed up, so we're good on those. I still have this guy. I haven't been able to soda blast it. It's been raining real bad outside, and the moisture is gonna gum up the gun. So I gotta soda blast this so I can get all the little everything around here, all in there, whatever. Get the divots out of here, and I got a lot of Bondo to do on this guy. There's a lot of pock marks everywhere. But the good news is the hardware came in, so we're one step closer. I fitted all the drawers because they're all got their own little spot that they go. So I figured all those out last night. Had to do some adjusting to some of these rails here to get everything to line up correctly. We haven't stained the top yet. We're going to after we get the drawers done. So that's our next step, is getting these guys done, but I gotta wait for them to dry off a little bit. You see how dark they are right here compared to over here and there, everywhere. So we'll let these set up, and then we'll get these things primed, and then the next step is paint. So with paint day, it's been a couple days since the last video where I showed you the drawers all on the ground there before I primed. I did get that one fixed, went ahead and did a light sand on it, got all the crap out of it, primed it again, and we were good to go. Got all of them knocked down. I don't like any of them. They all got way too many things wrong with them. I don't have enough of them. I got all of them done, and I got the door over there. The door I had to blast. We did the soda blaster the way we did with these guys here and around the edges down there. Sure, it was fine, I guess. Made a little mistake. So I thought I had primer sitting up here on the table, ready for spraying. I was going to prime that guy, wash out the gun, load the paint, spray these guys. Turns out I prepped it last night before I went to bed. Totally forgot it was paint. So there's no primer on that guy. I don't care. Get rid of it anyway. So yeah, we've got the Silver Lake color on here now. I've done one coat, letting these set up a little bit. Probably got about 5 more minutes before it's ready for a second coat. That one's going to take like 5 or 6 coats before we get it done. And once all this is done, I got a hockey game to go to tonight. Once I get back from the hockey game, I'm going to peel this tape and paper off, and then we're going to tape all the way around here, because we're going to start staining it. We're going to get the top stained up tonight, let that kind of dry, leave the fans on, and then back in the morning, and we're going to seal it. We're going to use a little spray sealer with the clear. It'll darken the color a little bit. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're just letting this paint dry and hitting that one 17 more times, and then we'll be ready to do some stain on that guy. Alright, so far they've got 2 coats, both of them. I probably saw the flash, little Charlie back there. It's a little chilly out here, so these things ain't really setting up the way they're supposed to. But I'm going to hit them a 3rd time anyway, even though they're still a little wet. I'm going to hit them a 3rd time, and then I'm going to let them sit. I got to get ready to go to this hockey game here. Then I gotta spill the paint, and I gotta rinse out the gun. I gotta get everything ready to go. So we'll see what happens when I get home. We'll see what it looks like. If I gotta shoot another coat of paint, I'll do that tonight after I get back. Should be well and dry by then. So let's get the painting. I'm not wearing a respirator. I got fans going. Doors wide open. We're just pushing through. So wear your respirator. that door is going to need a little bit of sanding. It's got more runs than Usain Bolt. Okay, so I painted everything. Painted all the drawer fronts and all that. I still have some spots where you can kind of see primer just because of the angles and all that. So I'm going to have to hit them up again. But first, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and mix the paint up with the water solution so it's ready to spray. And I'm actually going to roll the edges. I don't want to spray these because you'll get overspray all over the inside of the drawers. I mean, they already did when they painted it the first time. You can see you got overspray everywhere on this. I don't know if you could see when I did the masking to spray them on the ground, but I taped them twice and wrapped paper around them so that they had no areas that were going to be exposed on the drawers. So that wasn't me. That was already like that. So I'm going to go ahead and roll all the edges here. I'm going to let those dry. Again, it's kind of cold outside today. I'm going to turn the heater on to get a little bit of heat built up in the shop so this paint will dry out a little quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix up some more paint, and I'm going to finish spraying these drawers. I'm going to get them. I got a little bit of primer that you can see in here in these little grooves, and then down here on the bottom parts, all along the bottom rail here, there's a little strip of white where you can see the primer. So I'm going to get that done. I'm going to finish up the door on the back side. The whole front of the door is solid, it's good. I got to paint the back of it now because it opens up and you see that too. And then once I'm done with that, once this stuff is dry, we're going to tape off, let me push this in here. We're going to tape off here all the way around, put a piece of paper all the way around it, you know, a little 12-inch paper to protect the drawer so we can start staining the top. And then once the top is stained, we're gonna let it sit all day. I'm gonna leave the heat on in here so it can try to soak in real good to that wood, so we can spray the clear on top of it, the satin clear. And once that's done, really the only thing we got left is putting on the hardware. And then this thing is out of my shop forever. Thank God. It's time. The pieces that needed to be painted up front to fix the exposed primer, I've handled all that. That's all good. So all in all, the whole front of this thing probably got 4 or 5 coats, depending on certain spots. Down here, out of the camera view, is the door. The front of the door had some runs in it from, I had it standing up while I was painting it yesterday and the paint ran. So I got those sanded down, got that all smoothed up again, wiped it down, laid it flat on a stool down here, and I painted it. It's got it flipped over now, sprayed 1 coat on the backside, need to do probably 2 more coats on the backside of that. Now we're going to peel tape, and we're going to take all the goodies off the back here, off the top, get all the paper, get all that. We're going to clean this top up one more time, just spray it down, make sure there's no sawdust on it whatsoever, and get ready to start staining this guy. So we gotta tape up around because we gotta get under this little lip here, and in the front there's a lip, on that side there's a lip. We gotta get under that, so we're gonna have to tape right here so that, you know, we don't make a mess. So let's get this off of here. Alright, we're going to let that dry. I got a fan running over here that's really drying out this door front here, but we still got some airflow going over top of the wood. It'll take, I don't know, 15-20 minutes to dry. While that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and get my shirt ripped up, and I'll show you that here in a second, why we're going to use a t-shirt. Alright, it's time. It's time to stain. So, I'm going to show you the things that you're going to need if you're going to stain. There's a couple different kinds of stains. This one is a gel stain. I don't remember why I bought it. I don't remember what the difference is. One is a wiping stain, and it's like liquid, right? So it soaks right in super quick. This is a gel. It gobs on really good. Wipes just the same. You know, you could wipe it on and wipe off the excess and get that color that you really want. This stuff will stack on top of itself to make it darker and darker and darker as it dries. Wiping stain, I believe, that's just the color that it is. So the things you're going to need, you're going to want some rubber gloves. I only have one, so I'm going to use this on my wiping hand. And you want to use torn up old t-shirts. Okay, that's because they don't have lint on them, and when you're doing this, you don't want to leave anything behind, or you're going to have to do it again. You can use rags, you can use paper towels. All that stuff has little bits of lint that are going to get left behind, so kind of do it at your own, your own discretion what you want to use. I'm using a torn up old t-shirt. Only wore this shirt about 3 times. Got too small for me, so don't have any use for it anymore. So we're going to go ahead and use that. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to get this little section of shirt here, and I'm going to get me a nice little helping of this gel stain. See, it looks like poop. And you're going to want to go with the grain, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to layer it on thick, and we're just going to wipe it. See, like this. Get your shirt and just wipe it in, just like that. Now we're going to do the whole kit and caboodle here. So we're going to use quite a bit of this stain. So that's why you want to use gloves, because this stuff is gross. We didn't tape up the dresser itself yet, but we're only doing the top for right now, maybe the sides. But as we do the sides, we're going to want to start thinking about using the tape. So this would be nice if I had 2 hands, but I don't have 2 gloves. And this is an oil base, so it will not come off of you. You will have to use all kinds of lacquer thinners and all kinds of stuff on your skin to get this off. So look at that nice deep color we're getting out of here. This color is natural walnut. So you want to keep going with the grain, right? We'll get some more. We'll move down here, then we'll get some of the excess. It'll come down here and we'll do this little spots that we didn't get. All this stuff here. And same thing, we're just going to wipe the excess in. Like that. Okay. We'll keep on moving. We're going to do this whole thing just like this. Well, let's back up here and take a further away look at it. It's actually looking really good. I went ahead and did the back. Got the back lip back here. Got both sides done and the top. Now looking underneath it, most of my paint failed. So I don't think I'm going to do the bottom lip here. I think I'm just going to do the top because everything else looks pretty good. And plus when it's on the ground, you're not going to see any of that anyway. So I think I'm going to let this soak in. It actually looks, there's a couple shiny spots that still are around, but for the most part, all this stuff is already soaked in. This wood was thirsty. So we got a little bit of wet that was right there, and a little bit of excess right here, and maybe some on the sides and the front, but we're going to go ahead and just let this soak in. I didn't read what the can said. Maybe the can's like, oh, give it 6 days and then you can touch it. I ain't got 6 days, so we're going to see how long this takes. Let me actually read the can for you. And if you're wondering, this is Old Masters gel stain. You can get a Benjamin Moore, where I get everything. All right, so it says 6 to 8 hours, depending on a couple of factors actually, depending on temperature, humidity, air movement, and the amount of stain on the surface. Temperature, it's actually pretty nice in here. It's not that bad today. Did run the heater a little bit this morning. It was in the 40s. But now the sun's out, it's heating up the shop, it's heating up outside, it's probably about 60, 65 outside. I got a fan moving that's blowing air across this, so there's two things going for us. The humidity is low because there isn't hardly anything in the atmosphere today, so that's working for us. And the last thing, the amount of stain on the surface, we just wiped it on and wiped it right off. So we just stained the wood. It didn't really get to soak in too much. So all in all, I think after about an hour, I'm going to give it a touch test and we're going to see that we might be able to get this thing masked up, get the satin stain sealer on there. We'll get all that sealed up, let that dry, then we get to do some knobs, and this thing is finally done.